Good afternoon. Anish, for a moment, I thought we'll have to give out freebies for people to come and attend this session. Oh, thank God for that. All right. Welcome to this session on Phygital. I just want to break some definition codes here. The last 2 days, we've been listening to the word Phygital. I'm not exactly sure whether we are so sure about the definition of what Phygital is. Maybe in some of the sessions it has been clarified. So the first question to the audience, anyone can tell me what really Phygital is? Can you define the ingredients of Phygital? Yes, ma'am. A mic there, please. This is, Anish, the conference is going the other way. We are asking the audience questions first. Fantastic. Oh, I didn't know I was getting one. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, sir. So according to me, Phygital would be combining of the physical and the digital bit and making an experience seamless wherever, probably having a cashless checkout or barcode scanning.
So when you say combine the two, what do you mean?
When I say combine the two, maybe we might be at a physical retail store, but we could scan the barcode ourselves and make a bill for ourselves.
Okay, so you're saying that it gives me extra information, that information inside the store is now available on my
Yes.
phone, and it becomes very easy for me to do
And
whatever
I
I'm
believe
doing.
that would be faster as well.
Okay, that's one definition. Anyone else? Okay, I'm not seeing any more hands go up. Yeah. Synchronizing the two. Okay. So here is what I'm thinking. Before the word Phygital was made, it used to be called omni-channel. Okay. Where omni-channel is where you have a store and you have a consumer with an app in the hand or the. In my view, Phygital is where you transact offline and you transact online. If I go to a store and I scan the QR code and I get information about the product, this is a digitization of the information that the store is doing. But I'm still checking out at the same POS. Having a self-checkout, in my view, is not Phygital. So that's my definition, that unless transaction were to happen in the physical store and for the same product can be bought digitally, I do not think it is Phygital or omni-channel. The jury is out on this, but I think we should start. I want to take the liberty for the first few minutes to just quote some interesting cases around the world about what Phygital is doing everywhere else or omni-channel is doing. There's a very interesting case of Best Buy in the US. Best Buy is an electronics retailer, and they're one of the forerunning retailers until Amazon came and disrupted the game. Their sales were going down and down and down, and over a period of six years, they were really down by probably trading at $150 down to 2 digits until they got a new CEO, his name was Jolly, who knew nothing about electronics and nothing about retail. See, sometimes that's the best thing to do. Get a guy who knows nothing but is clever. He'll have a fresh pair of eyes. He came in and you know what he did? So what were the consumers doing? They were going to a store like you do, go to Chroma today or to Vijay Sales or come to your furniture store, come and have a look at your product, check it on the site, and then go and buy it online if it is cheaper. So Best Buy did one single thing, probably a good cue for you. Best Buy removed all the prices from the store. They said, you check online, whatever is the price, I'll give it to you. And they built a rock-solid technical team which gave the consumer all the things that they wanted to know. So it's really, that is what Phygital can actually do to you. The other story is about China. We were just debating. I doubt we may not want to hear that word, but I doubt there is anyone who's done as much innovation in the world in the digital space as China has. In terms of the consumer experience, there's a company called Pinduoduo, a big company, very big, billions of dollars. They are in the grocery space. And they acquire customers at less than $4. And how do they do that? They used something, along with the retail online, they did social commerce. Social commerce is where you bring, and social commerce is a very big subject of research. They made a Venn diagram where social commerce intersected with commerce, with transaction. If you list down all the big digital companies of the world, starting from Amazon or Microsoft or whoever it is, either they are social commerce. For instance, you go to Facebook and it's more about connecting with people. You don't do so much of transaction on Facebook, so they are not commerce. They're more social commerce. Or somewhere else, it is only commerce. But Pinduoduo combined the two and made social commerce. They put gaming on their site. And I was giving an example of how they have a game called Plant a Tree. So you go to the app. Unfortunately, you can't log in from here. I would have loved to do it. You log into the app, and you register for, you don't have to buy anything. You just register, and you say, I want to start playing Plant a Tree. So every time you shop, they give you a few droplets of water, which you have to water the tree. And the tree can be a peach tree, an apple tree, or there's some 3-4 trees. So you take the water and you water the plant. Once you water the plant and it becomes big, they give you one box of that apple or peach or whatever it is free to your home. They launched it in April. By December, they had more than 300 million people registering just to put droplets of water. They are one of the biggest companies in China in commerce around the world. They run on WeChat, and they do use the WeChat customers. WeChat is growing. Pinduoduo is doing brilliantly. Amazing stories that Phygital is. We're going to talk today about the importance of being Phygital the right way. Just having an app doesn't make you digital. So we have a panel here today which is going to debate a few things. One is what Phygital means to them, and what the digital and the offline and the online. There may be players here who are like Mr. Hirani, who is completely only digital. And he has the experience of having only physical stores and then move to only digital stores. I think you're the right place for me to start, Pradeep.
Thank you.
You have I went to your site last night. I have been there before as well. Extremely pretty site. And you're a premium apparel site. Some of the best designers are also showcased there. You were earlier, you had 37 physical stores, all of which you sold for any reason. For various reasons, you may have sold it. And now you are completely online. Why don't you share the experience with us?
Well, I've gone from one spectrum to the other. And it was a 3-year process. It didn't happen overnight. It was a 3-year process. But I say I'm a much happier man now. Though the online stores are 24 hours, but they still take up less of your time, less of your energy, compared to, I was actually rocketing between my 37 stores, which were all across the country, and my whole team was traveling all the time. And that has been a huge savior. Also, you know, the digital revolution was knocking at the doors of retail for a long time, for almost a decade. But since the new era, like the template to calculate years, we used to calculate as BC and AD. There is a third one now called AC, after Corona. I think the pandemic has been the holy trigger that is responsible for changing the equation, changing the dominance of physical over digital. Initially, digital was supportive in nature, and physical was the big daddy. That equation has been reversed. Going further, I think we will have to call such conferences, instead of calling them phygital, we'll have to call it Digify, where digital will be the dominant partner, the first name. So, yes, and thanks to technologies like VR, AR, AI, and all of that, if we can seamlessly manage them, the stores of the future are not going to be in the malls or in high streets. They are going to be in the lounges of people. Right now, the products are in the lounges. I'm talking about the actual store being. You put on your VR set, and you can click from one store to the other. You can walk around, you can shop, you can transact, you can do everything. But to transact, what is critical is that the onus is on us to deliver the wow experience. If we cannot deliver the wow experience, we will not have the customer.
Pradeep, I want to stay with you for one more question before I move to Abbas. I have seen that if you look at the last 15 years or 20 years, all the things which moved from physical to digital are those products where you don't need to touch and feel and where you don't need more experience, right? And the best example is books. Books moved online because if you can read the preface and you can read the introduction, the first few pages, and you read about the author, then you don't necessarily want to feel the quality of the pages. So that moved online. Obviously, if that were not the case, then Amazon, having started from a bookseller, wouldn't be what he is today. How correct is that? Because your business is all about trial, is all about the color. You take various phones, you'll see the same red in various shades of red, depending on the screen and the resolutions that they give you. How important is this assumption that the look and feel is very important for fashion?
It is critical. But if technology can transfer all 5 senses online, then there is no difference. And it's on its way. Right now, you can see sight, you can see sound, you can even, there's a technology where you can even have smell. Very soon, you'll have touch and taste also. If you can transfer all these 5, then it's a game changer.
Unfortunately, we don't have Vivek Bali with us, who's from Enrich. Haircut is the only thing you can't do online. So they should continue to...
Thank God for small mercies.
Yeah, really. I mean, but you never know the way technology is going, what might actually happen. But you're telling me something which is really counterintuitive at that level, because you can do a digital trial room. Have you tried that?
Yes, we do a digital trial room. That is on.
So I can try it, and
of course.
Fantastic.
That's a 15-year-old technology.
That's actually augmented reality, and therefore that.
That was 15 years back. And
how many people use it?
Oh, lots of people use it. Lots of people use it. It's at least 25 to 30% people use it.
Wow, that's amazing. And people base their buying decision on that?
Oh yes, not only that. It's ideal for selfies. There is another pandemic called Instagram.
Yeah, so you can take a selfie. You don't have to really possess it at that level. Raghunandan, your business is furniture. Yeah. So I won't ask you how you're doing after IKEA, but that's another story. But I saw your site. It looked like slightly premium furniture to me. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what we're targeting for, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty evident from your site. Very woody and very natural looking.
Correct, yeah.
What has been your digital experience over the last 5 years?
Okay, so we started as a purely digital offering in terms of just the website back in 2011. And then in about 2015, we had experience stores as well. So when you said that, it's very important, the look and feel, the products which does not require look and feel are much easier to go online and digital. I think that's the basis for this convention as well. Product which requires physical, touch and feel, that's where the physical comes in. But I believe all of us are, including me of course, are focusing on the digital experience of customers before buying, the pre-sales experience, how to acquire a customer, how to get a customer. No, I don't think we're focusing enough on the post-sales part of it. What role does digitalization play in the post-sales part? Once the customer has bought the product, don't we need to give him the same experience which we were so curious to give before he was buying or she was buying the product? Now, what's happening is that, I believe that this is a correlation of experience and expectations. Due to the amazing pre-sale experience we are providing customers, their expectations remain the same post-sales also. And that's what, the digitalization and the companies need to focus on as well.
I remember I used to run, when I was in Reliance, we used to run a hypermarket in Ahmedabad, and I found of all the departments, furniture was one of the most difficult departments, except for the grab-and-go furniture.
Thank you for understanding seriously.
Yeah, really, I mean, you would actually ship out the table without the legs and, stuff like that, and it wouldn't fit up. So do you use technology to help customer fit the furniture in a room? Do you do things like that?
To an extent, yes, but like you mentioned, IKEA, see, there's a huge difference in the product. And in fact, IKEA helped us do what we were trying to do by spending time, money, and efforts before IKEA, is to make people understand the difference between the product, like the wood, like you mentioned, wood and the plywood. We were investing time, money, and effort in that. And when IKEA came in, they did it for us. People saw the difference themselves. So in terms of the, helping customers in installing the furniture digitally, there's a lot to be done in that. It's at a very infant stage right now because, again, the expectation from the customer is that I bought the product and I just want to use it. The DIY we're not truly there at DIY yet.
Understand.
Yeah.
It's a really a tough category, and I think you need to be patient with that category. I understand that. Abbas, you run something which has been missing in our lives for the last 2 years, 1.5 years, which is entertainment. So time zone entertainment centers is what you run. And I remember it's about 5-6 years ago where you set up your first one, was it?
We did from 2004 onwards.
2004. Yeah, I remember it was a super hit somewhere in R City Mall or somewhere.
We did in R City.
Isn't it? Yeah, I remember that. I used to be in Future Group at that time. And have you created an experience for the customer sitting at home of your entertainment center, or has the digitization all been in situ, or rather in the store when they come in? That is your definition of digital?
So in our case, of course, the business is location based. So you have to come and experience the game, to play the game, to experience it. So there's no way that we can shift the game to the customer's house and he can play there. How we are using the amalgamation is we know where the pain points of the guest are lies. Like when we send an SMS to our customer saying, hey, there is an offer, and you come, and the SMS goes to the father, but the consumer is the child. And the father is like, oh, if I tell this to my child, he's not going to come. He's going to take me there, and it's a waste of time for me. So he'll not even tell the child that there is an offer. So the reason is the father is irritated because when he comes there to the store, he comes on a Saturday, Sunday, he sees it is crowded, he doesn't know now what to do. And it's too crowded to stand in the queue, explain the offer and all. So we are moving to a situation where, you can load online. So you have the money online on the card. So the father comes to the mall, says, hey, listen, this is your card, just go play, I'm sitting here, and you come back. So that's something that we're using. Then as mobile technology is evolving, we want to do away with the physical card. We want to go to a situation where, you know, you just tap your phone on the game reader and the game starts on its own. So it just becomes convenient, because what we are realizing is today's generation doesn't need to interact where the interaction is not needed. Like if I will call you, you may not take the call, but if I will WhatsApp you, will reply, because you know that I can control this discussion. So it gone are the days where, you know, the guest doesn't want to be taught what happens in a birthday party. He wants to see it on his own leisure, select the package that he wants, book it online, and the way we have explained it, his expectation is that it's going to be the same way that at the store. So that's the way in which direction in which we are moving. You know, the points that you collect, you know, they want a catalog online, they wanted to select online, they want to redeem online. They don't mind coming and collecting, but they don't want to go through the hassle of going to 20 things, you know, standing in the queue. The queue is what irritate the customer the most. And I think that's one of the reasons why online groceries, etc., everything is taking traction, because nobody wants to go to a hypermarket and stand in a long queue for the checkout process. So those are the points that we are trying to amalgamate in our business, so that you are still coming to the store, but whatever pain points are there are all addressed by the digital interface.
I remember when Reliance launched their first time decades ago, they launched the phones and they had their own shops. Every time you go there, there would be a room there where young kids would come and play games. And this thing is like 4 people. And it's a competitive game between 4 people. And it was madness inside that room, because gaming was so new.
Right.
And they provided this gaming where you actually win points. Do you think that's a great way to bring people in? You work with a gaming company and you say that, okay, who are the next 4 guys who are going to compete? Whoever wins actually wins $200. Then you get people hooked onto that gaming. Is that another game that you want to launch on your center?
See, see, for us, what is our forte lies in location-based, entertainment formats. We are not, a lot of inquiries come, a lot of our guests come and tell us, hey, can you just, we like this game, but can you just move it online? Can you just put it on an app? It's not very, it's not very easy for us to come here every time. But the fun in our business is only when you come here. And like you said, we get a lot of inquiries, proposals from hypermarkets, cinema lobbies, etc., where they just want to have some kind of entertainment so that they can hold the kids, like in a department store formats, etc., because the mother is shopping, the child is irritating them, and they don't know what to do. So those are opportunities which are available, and yes, we are looking at now getting into those spaces, but I still see that it will take some time, because right now we're just consolidating our format.
Sure.
Excuse me for 5 minutes. I'll just be back in 2 minutes.
Sure. Uddhav, you're going to open your Urban Square Mall, and this is the best news we've heard, that malls are opening instead of shutting, and that's actually pretty good news for the economy and for the people. What has changed? What has your view to running the mall differently? Is it in a different place now?
I like to start by challenging what Pradeep ji was saying about going totally digital. I kind of support what Abbas and my friend have been saying, that I agree certain categories will probably move to digital, like you said, But you can use technology to enhance the experience of a customer in a physical store. And, because we're all social beings eventually. We love to go out, we like to meet our friends. It's the whole experience of shopping. It's not just buying online, That, of course, if your shopping center, for us, if the shopping center is just pure shopping, of course, someone can do it online. But if you're providing an experience to the customer, then the customer will want that experience, and which has to go beyond just transaction. So that's
Sure.
what the focus has to be for shopping centers, and that's what we are trying to do, is focus more on F&B, more on entertainment, more on those factors which probably people weren't looking at. The mix, I think, has changed a lot in shopping centers from pure retail to a lot of F&B and a lot of entertainment.
Sure. So, are you using any part of the fact that the penetration of phones is so humongous now?
Yeah, of course. I mean, our malls are yet to launch. They'll be launching in March. And first one will be launched in March. And we are working on our app right now. And we want to integrate all the stores which are going to open in our mall into our app. We are doing all of that. And I think that also, if you see the October sale numbers are very encouraging. I was talking to a lot of retailer friends today, and people have told me that this October was best October in 7-8 years. You know, so of course we can't talk about pandemic period because there was no option for the customer. Purely, he had an option only to buy online. When he got the opportunity to choose between the two, is where we need to see where the customer is moving. So I think digital is here to stay, but it'll coexist if you bring the experience part into your physical stores.
Sure. I think this whole thing about going digital, people, there was no business where you had to do everything. Like, I'm the wrong one to be sitting in the group because I know very little about your businesses. I do only grocery business. And you open a store and you keep it well, you decorate it, and you welcome people like you do in a mall. The customer is supposed to get into his car and spend the fuel, park, shop, and cart it home. Today, you not only want to have the expense of opening a store and running it, you're also saying, I will now from there deliver to your home. Does it make sense?
For the retailer?
Does it make sense as a human being? I mean, this is illogical, right? Isn't it?
I mean, if he's coming, if it is, if it's just a delivery, a simple transaction, of course, people will, like I said, go for the online version if there is no touch and feel required in that particular product. But if there is touch and feel required, like in his product, in furniture, where people want to see what kind of wood is it, people want to play the games that Abbas is offering. What they are doing is they're using technology to get the customer's experience enhanced. And I think, so it depends on category. I think digital, like if you say phone sales, maybe it's only going to be online eventually, or book sales, because what is the touch and feel in that? Grocery, maybe, I don't know, I don't have the right answer for it. You know better than me.
So, Raghunandan, tell me, people don't want to know more about the furniture they're buying, or they just want to know the size and the price?
Okay, so the kind of questions customers were asking before buying furniture specifically have evolved over years. Earlier, the decision making was based on the design and the price, and if there is a correlation between them, they'll buy it. But now they're asking questions about what it's made of, and what are the longevity, and they now factor in utility as well. So, like he mentioned, it's more about experience, and the extent of experience will vary with the category of the product. Like some products can go fully digital and some can't go fully digital. But there is no product at all now which can only be physical at this age.
Yeah.
So it's the experience you give to your customers should be, should be at par with the product that you have. If you try to go overboard with that, that may not be the right thing to do as well.
But isn't customer acquisition a huge cost online, or you don't do that?
Customer acquisition is a cost, yes. But if we focus equally on keeping the customers, then gradually that cost goes down.
Sure.
So it's not just about acquiring more and more, but if you just focus on keeping what you have acquired already, they'll be your advocates. They'll be the one acquiring customers for you. So that's an equal area where we need to focus on.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, we don't have a fashion player here who does physical and that. Pradeep does only completely online. So Abbas, what's your take? What is the cost of acquiring a customer? Has it become cheaper for you today, or is it more expensive?
See, for us, sorry. So for us, we are considered to be, one of the anchors to the mall, and we're more of a parasite to the mall footfall. But what we all realized over a period of years is that we will malls also started struggling with footfall. So now no more is where you're in a good mall, so you're going to be successful. So what is needed is how are you going to reaching out to your audience to get them coming to your mall. And for that reason, what we are now started doing is reaching out on the digital platforms to get them coming. Just to give you an example, when this COVID happened, it was a nightmare for us to get our business restarted because we were considered in the same cinema category. Now the authorities came and asked us, how are you going to maintain crowd, and how are you going to maintain the log in terms of how many people are there in your store. So my business team came up with a very good solution. They developed a software where if you come to time zone, you can scan the QR code and you can see the occupancy. And it tells you that, okay, fine, there are 200 people allowed, but there are 150 inside, so 50 more can go. But if it reaches a peak capacity, then it tells you that now if you come after half an hour, we will take you inside. So what, to answer your question on acquisition, these are things that we have been doing to get people coming to us. In terms of marketing spend, we now moving entire marketing of ours, which was earlier very traditional. Earlier you would give a press ad, you do a hoarding, or you do a radio jingle or whatever, and people come. But now our generation, the customers that coming to our store, the generation is everything is on mobile. So you need to know how to reach. Like now Instagram and Facebook also has reached up. Now people they're listening to Spotify, so the ad has to pop up there. Because he's the guy who's listening to Spotify, he's the guy who comes to do bowling. So those are the areas in which we are moving, and I personally believe that in terms of reaching out to people, there is no better way than digital, because that is the easiest way you're reaching, and it gives you the flexibility of identifying whom you want to reach, and it just goes there. So that's I think where our whole marketing effort is now moving.
Sure. So, Uddhav, you may want to try an urban coin every time somebody walks into your...
Yeah, lot of new thoughts, and I'm always learning from my retailer friends because they're much ahead in the game. So, yeah, every day something new is happening.
It's necessary for the mall to build a symbiotic relationship with the brands.
Yes, absolutely.
So, if your mall has a coin that if let's say I go to one of the brands and I buy for $1,000, I get, let's say, 10 coins, which lies in the app.
Right.
And then you get the coin back to whoever is doing the most business, or you create that symbiotic loop. So I think phygital has got to be far more than information.
Yeah.
It's got to be far more than convenience. It must be transaction. You got to drive the people to transact.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not sure phygital is the right word for it. Digitization for information is fine, but phygital is only where there is transaction. So I think that would be an important thing. I think if there are any comments from any one of you, otherwise we'll open it to the audience for any question. Yes, sir. Now, I'm not sure that first statement itself is right, because let me give you some stats. If you send out 1 million SMSs, what is the open rate? What do you think the open rate is? So acquiring a customer is different from reaching a customer, right? The open rate is less than 0.2%. So he reaches me, but I don't open his SMS. So has he reached me or not reached me? Sorry?
Physically.
That ratio is quite low.
Stepping into your outlet.
Sorry, can you just rephrase your question?
Okay,
you're
I'm
saying that
rephrasing
digitally you're reaching a customer, right?
No. You're digitally reaching to him. You're inviting him on your outlet. So now he's on your outlet. So that becomes easy with digital. What about his conversion?
No. So let me just stay with the first point. If I send out 1 million SMSs saying that the mall is open, the open rate of an SMS is only 0.2%. And the cost of an SMS is 15 paisa. But it's not 15 paisa. It is 15 paisa divided by 0.2. And if you send out 1 million, that is the cost. It's extremely expensive. To what? So out of the 0.2% who opened the SMS,
Comparison-wise expensive, not the value-wise.
sorry?
It's comparison-wise expensive, not the value-wise. Okay?
I don't know what you mean.
Should I?
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. I think what you're trying to ask is that it's comparatively easier to reach a customer digitally than to convert a customer. Is that your question, sir?
So the first thing was is easy to bring a customer in. Okay, you're asking as far as the conversion is concerned. I'm a grocery retailer, so I can talk about grocery. The conversion depends upon as soon as a customer launches your app, or rather he comes to your store. What you do inside the store is what the conversion is. Conversion is directly proportional to the experience that the customer has when they come to the store. Let's take a mall, for instance. Lulu Mall in Cochin, that's the first mall they opened. Everybody will make a mall which can park some 800, 900 cars. They had 4,000 cars and buses. So that problem is gone. Your conversion is based on that. If you believe that the first impediment to conversion is when you're sitting at home. I have to go to that mall, I have to pay $100 for parking. Khatam ho gaya. Your conversion is dead there. After you get to the mall, can you easily get to the shopping area? That's another conversion factor. What about the lighting? What about the air conditioning? What about the safety? Everything. Your factors of conversion is different from Raghunandan's factors of conversion. When somebody goes to a furniture store, we should ask him, and I'm not the right one to answer. But let me ask the question on behalf of the gentleman. How do you get high conversion in a furniture store?
So let me give a very bookish answer for this. So what we are forgetting is that every sale is about, like I used to learn back when I used to study, is product, price, place, and promotion. And this digitalization is making the place spaceless. Everywhere is place now. You know, the phone is a place, the store is a place, promotion is everywhere now. But the ultimate conversion is product and price. So the digitalization is helping us, you know, taking the most of the place and promotion. That has become rather easier, and the reach has gone far beyond. But the ultimate conversion, the other two factors, product and price, will always play a big role.
I'll give you another example of conversion. How many of you have seen the video of Amazon Go? I see one hand, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think you should go to the YouTube and put Amazon Go. They opened their first store in Seattle. It's a grocery store. It was a trial store. It is somewhere near Amazon's own office. So you have an Amazon app. You go to the store, and all you got to do is scan the QR code. Walk in, take a basket, shop, and walk out. That's cool, right? No queues, no payment, no nothing. How cool is that?
That's digital.
That's exactly digitization your business. It's Amazon Go. And they used multiple technologies. Every shelf has a weight factor. If you pick it up, they will bill you, you put it back, they will credit you. Instantly. Face recognition technologies run in that store. And they have only a few. And how cool is this? You take your app, scan it, go inside, pick up a basket, just pick everything else and just walk out. And believe it or not, there's a guy in Cochin who's replicated that. Copy karne mein bahut achhe hain. You should. One of my ex-bosses once told me, copy shamelessly and execute seamlessly. There is no shame in copying well. So to answer your question, the conversion is a factor which, as a product owner, you must know what leads to consumption. In my theory, the Indian consumer is one of the worst consumers. The only thing they want is price. They ask price is the first thing they want to ask. Whether the bed is made of plywood or made of teak wood, Raghunandan knows how much trouble he has convincing that customer. Appealing to person's ego is very important. Abbas will tell you how difficult it is to convince the parent to say that, let your kid have a good time, boss. You're sitting and you're eating, you're walking around and shopping. The poor kid has nothing to do. Give the kid a good time. So conversion depends upon the kind of businesses that you have. Abbas, what's to that gentleman's question? How do you enhance your conversion?
So like I've been saying, to answer your question, we also send out SMSs, and the conversion ratio is similar to what he's been saying, that it's hardly anything, or we've hardly had anybody coming and saying that, hey, Rishi, I received your SMS and that's why I came. So the way we are now looking at reaching out is to optimize the cost and get more. When we earlier used to do registration of our customers, to say, okay, give your name and number. That the moment I will ask your number, you will not give, because you will say, oh, once I give my number, you'll start sending me messages. So we're saying, no. We now need the number, the name, and the PIN code. The reason I'm asking for the PIN code is because if I have to reach you digitally, I need to just know which PIN code you are staying. And that's the only thing I need now, because SMS and now the way DOT, Department of Telecom and everything is going, it's not easy to send a message to anyone. And if somebody goes and reports, and we have had cases, they make our life miserable by sending us notices. So the best way we've started doing is just take the PIN code. If I know the PIN code, and if I know that in my store, so many people are coming from this PIN code, that means that's my catchment. And we have a store in Pallava, Experia Mall, for people who know, which is in Dombivali. And when we started getting the PIN code, we realized that people from Thana and Mumra are also coming there because of the experience, whatever, that it's convenient for them to come there. And that's how we started reaching digitally those catchments, saying that, oh, we are present here. So that's how we have a store in Panvel, and we are shocked to know that people from Kharghar are going to a mall in Panvel. So just to answer your question, that's how I think we are optimizing ourselves. If you get the right PIN codes, you know where your guests are staying. You just need to have that, and then the algorithm follows. You know that you need to target a mom who's shopping X, Y, Z, and then you just reach out. And it's just getting better and better.
Any other question, please? Anish, I think we are done for the day.
Okay, can I just make a quick observation on your first question to the audience?
Sure.
On what Phygital is. I think it's not okay, let's do this in the digital space and let's do this in the physical space. It has to be a symbiotic relationship between the two. The both have to coexist in an environment which requires you to use both, and that's Phygital. Go is a perfect example. One of our clients in a similar space to Saraf Furniture uses our AR platform, not so much as to say what IKEA does, where you can place an armchair in the middle of your carpet and see what it looks like, but to say, all right, we have some furniture that requires assembly. You bring it home, scan the marker, and it'll give you installation instructions without having to get a carpenter to come in or requiring IKEA's technicians to come in there and put the damn thing together, because everyone knows that you can't assemble IKEA with just one screwdriver. Yeah. Doesn't work. Yeah. So using the digital space to work with your physical product or your physical space, to me, that's the Phygital.
No, I completely agree with you. The only distinction I was trying to make is everyone must know the difference between digitizing a process and omni-channel sale. Just converting my whole shop, which never used a phone or an app, into digital, that is not Phygital. That is not omni-channel sale. Truly, if you have a product which can be bought in the offline and can be bought in the online, or the decision can be made in the online space. That, to my mind, is the phygital or the omni-channel that truly is the definition. Otherwise, you're just digitizing your company. You're just digitizing your process. That is not phygital. Just, I can go into a store, I can go to Raghunandan's store and scan everything and find all the information. That's not phygital. That is just digitizing your process. It is not phygital or the omni-channel, like you want to call it. So I think there's a reasonable confusion, like most things, as far as physical is concerned, phygital is concerned. The omni-channel was far better defined, that you had a store and you had a customer sitting at home. They could buy this way or they could buy that way.
Sir,
Could place an order there and pick it up elsewhere.
am I at liberty to add something to it?
Most certainly.
Sure. So again, it's the same thing which I believe. You are touching the pre-sales part of it, and he's trying to include the post-sales part as well. So let's not, forget the post-sales part in
No,
terms of
the
physical.
post-sale part
So that's
was-
where it becomes truly omni-channel.
No, that's where I differ. Your post-sale of furniture was always part of your business. It is not new. It has nothing to
That's-
do with digital.
Post-sales is
When I buy a bed, you have to deliver it home, right?
Correct.
I can't take it home myself.
Depends.
So you had to do it even before it was digital. So it has not made a difference to your basic process. You have made it easier to find out when my bed is coming home. That is not phygital.
So, sir, are we saying that phygital is all about converting or acquiring a customer?
No, it is
Are
about...
we limiting it to that?
It is about giving the customer a choice to shop differently.
To shop. That means just to shop.
To buy.
We are limiting it till the time he or she buys. Is it that?
Yeah, why not include the post as part of the transaction process?
No.
So it's the pre all the way to the post, as you were saying.
Correct.
His business was always post. He's always post. Even 1,000 years ago, it was.
But now we are taking that experience to digital also.
In my definition, it is not phygital. It is not
That's
omni-channel.
exactly right.
Omni-channel is, I'm passing the store, I stop by, I pick up something. I don't want to go to the store, from home, I'm ordering. That is omni-channel. That is phygital, where I do the same transaction sitting on a plane, or I'm at home, or I'm in the store. It's a 360-degree availability, same price to the store. That is phygital. Your business was always post, but my grocery business was never post. Now I made it post and increased my losses. अभी आप स्टोर में भी आओ, छोड़ के जाओ, मैं घर पे पहुंचा दूंगा 100 rupees a pop for a retailer who makes 15% margin. So you have to be careful how you define this. So in my definition, digitization is different from phygital. Phygital, in my understanding, is that the customer has option to buy this way or that. Using AR, using VR, it is not phygital. Nothing to do with phygital. It is only another way of giving the customer more information. But sitting at home, you use a VR gadget and you buy something, you are doing a trial of your clothing, that is phygital. That's my definition. Sure. Nobody need accept it, but time will tell. We should find out whether this phygital word will last 1 year.
I think different categories might have different meanings to it, because for certain categories, it's like for him, that does not exist at all for Abbas. How
That
will
is
it,
true. 100%
So-
true. He is digitizing his.
That's the best he can do.
His marketing.
Yeah, I mean
but I'm saying you cannot have two definitions for one thing.
Okay.
So different people can't call a cat different things. Cat is a cat. So, we done? Thank you.
A leopard
you.
is a cat as well, sir. I'm just saying a leopard is a cat as well.
Thank you.